More than 1 million people in South Sudan were impacted by floods earlier this year, the country facing an increasingly dire humanitarian crisis. With international aid falling well short of the amount needed to effectively respond, South Sudanese communities here in Australia are stepping in to raise emergency funds.
Isaiah Kwat Abdallah Juk is one of the many Australians worried about family in South Sudan after the worst flooding in 60 years.
They are going through trauma, they are going through depression, they are going through hunger, there are waterborne diseases, they sleep in the open places, and when it rains on them. You know, they have nothing at all.
In July, heavy rain caused the Nile and other major rivers to overflow, forcing nearly 500,000 people out of their homes. Isaiah's cousin Jacob is among them.
Most of them are living by the roads because roads in South Sudan are built a little bit higher, so they're not affected by the flood, and that's where people are residing at the moment.
More than 100 people have died, food crops destroyed, and entire villages submerged. In Bor, the capital of flood-affected Jonglei state, it's displaced people themselves who are leading the recovery. NGOs say the government of South Sudan is unable to cope, and donations from foreign governments have provided less than a third of the money needed.
We are looking at emergency shelter and hygiene kits, clean and drinking water, enough food, health services, mosquito nets.
With the government failing and international attention elsewhere, South Sudanese community groups across Australia have set up their own fundraising campaigns, sending tens of thousands of Australian dollars.
Many Australian South Sudanese are affected by this situation, and it is causing a lot of mental stress to many families.
But community leaders say a coordinated response is needed. They've asked the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison to make an emergency donation to aid the recovery, a request that has so far been denied.
We know Australia is focusing currently on addressing the global pandemic coronavirus impact in Australia, but we thought that it's a humanitarian situation.
A call to help loved ones trapped in a worsening humanitarian crisis. Aaron Fernandez, SBS World News.
And that story was produced in collaboration with SBS Dinka.